Ever wonder why certain men seem to effortlessly hold a woman's attention without saying much, without chasing, without trying too hard? While others, despite being kind, good-looking, even successful, seem to be ignored, overlooked, or forgotten. It's not luck, and it's not some manipulative trick. The truth is, most men have no idea how powerful emotional awareness is, especially when it comes to understanding women. Because here's what nobody tells you. Women have subtle, often unconscious emotional triggers. Psychological buttons that, once pressed, can change how they see you entirely. And most of them don't even realize it's happening. These triggers aren't superficial, they're deeply wired into how trust, attraction, and respect are built. And if you ignore them, you'll be stuck, wondering why nothing ever works. But if you understand them, you stop chasing, you stop guessing, you start leading with presence, purpose, and calm. And the way women respond to you begins to shift. Naturally, this isn't about controlling others, it's about mastering yourself. And that's exactly what we're unpacking today. 10 powerful emotional cues that women respond to, even if they never admit it out loud. There's a quiet power in understanding what really moves people, not just what they say they want, but what their behavior reveals when they let their guard down. That's where Stoicism meets emotional intelligence, especially when it comes to relationships. Most men are taught to impress women with status, compliments, maybe even a little charm. But the men who truly stand out, the ones who earn deep respect and lasting attraction, are the ones who carry themselves with something more grounded, something unshakable. That something is internal mastery. Women, just like men, respond to signals, not the loud, flashy kind, but the quiet, consistent ones. Signals that tell her you're calm under pressure, you have purpose beyond pleasure, and your emotions don't control you, you control them. These aren't surface-level tips or pickup tactics. These are principles, the kind that shape how a woman feels around you, even if she can't explain why. And when you understand these hidden triggers, things begin to shift. You'll stop seeking validation, stop over-explaining yourself, and start holding your space like a man who knows who he is and where he's going. Before we begin, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video so more people can discover Stoicism. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on the bell for more daily insights. Now let's break down the 10 emotional cues that subtly influence attraction, and how you can embody them without ever pretending to be someone you're not. Number 1. Emotional certainty attracts women. There's something undeniably calming about a man who stays grounded when everything around him feels uncertain. Women feel this, often more than they consciously realize. Emotional certainty isn't about being cold or emotionless. It's about being centered. When a woman senses that your emotions don't spiral based on hers, when you remain steady, whether she's anxious, frustrated, or even distant, she begins to trust your presence without needing to test it. Most men don't realize how much emotional turbulence they project. They overreact, withdraw, or panic when things feel off. But emotional certainty, that's rare. It shows her through your energy that you don't need her to regulate your feelings, that you're capable of holding space for both of you. That stability creates safety, and safety creates attraction. Think of it like this. If she feels she has to calm you down more than she can rely on you to calm her, something shifts. You become the one needing shelter, not providing it. Emotional strength doesn't mean silence, it means stillness, and stillness under pressure. That's magnetic. Tell me in the comments, have you ever lost someone's respect simply because you reacted instead of responded? Number 2, scarcity creates desire. People don't chase what's always available. They chase what's slightly out of reach. And women, just like anyone else, feel a deeper emotional pull toward what they can't completely have. It's not a game, and it's not manipulation. It's human psychology. Scarcity signals value, and the more available you make yourself, especially too quickly, the less intrigue and respect you hold. Most men fall into the trap of over-texting, over-committing, and over-explaining. They think showing constant presence builds trust, but often it just drains the mystery. A man who's too easy to reach, too eager to please, becomes predictable, and predictability kills tension. But when you hold your space, when you don't always answer instantly, when you have your own plans, your own time, your own life, something shifts. She starts to lean in. She starts to wonder. And that wondering, that's where attraction lives. Think about it. The rarest experiences in life, the ones we crave most, are the ones we can't easily access. The same goes for connection. Your time is valuable. Your energy is earned. And when you live like you believe that, others will believe it too. Number 3, deep voice and strong presence signal dominance. You can say 1,000 words without opening your mouth, and women pick up on those signals almost instantly. A deep, calm voice paired with steady, grounded presence isn't just attractive, it's commanding. Not in an aggressive way, but in the way that says, I know who I am and I don't need to prove it. There's real psychology behind this. A deeper vocal tone subconsciously signals higher testosterone, leadership and emotional control. But beyond biology, it's about energy. A man with strong presence doesn't fidget, doesn't rush, doesn't perform. He occupies space with calm intention, and people feel it. The opposite? Nervous laughter, quick speech, avoiding eye contact, shaky posture. These subtle behaviors signal uncertainty, even if your words sound confident. Presence is a silent language, and the men who speak it best rarely speak much at all. When you walk into a room with self-trust, when you speak slowly with purpose, when you breathe deeply and move deliberately, she notices, even if she doesn't consciously know why. Let your presence speak first. Let your voice carry your calm, because dominance in its purest form is quiet. Number 4, the power of walking away. There's a moment in every man's life where he has to choose between chasing validation or walking away with dignity. And the truth is, nothing commands more silent respect than the man who can walk away without flinching. Most men crumble the second they feel her slipping away. They beg, they over-apologize, they try to fix everything. But here's what that behavior really says. My value depends on your approval. And the moment she senses that, the dynamic shifts. But a man who can calmly walk away, not out of spite, not as a threat, but from a grounded sense of self-worth, sends a very different message. He says, I want you, but I don't need you. And ironically, that's when she often leans back in. It's not about games, it's about boundaries. You're not punishing her, you're protecting your peace. And that kind of emotional independence, that's rare, that's powerful, that's attractive. Walking away isn't giving up, it's stepping into self-respect. And when you show that you're willing to lose someone before you lose yourself, everything changes. Think about a time you stayed longer than you should have. What did it cost you? Number 5. Purpose makes a man magnetic. There's something deeply attractive about a man who's moving towards something, not someone, a man with direction, with drive, with vision. He wakes up with intention, not just reaction, and that kind of purpose, it radiates. Most men make the mistake of putting women at the center of their lives, thinking if they give her all their time, all their attention, all their energy, she'll stay. But here's the truth. When she becomes your mission, you lose your edge. Because the man who drops everything for a woman is often the man who loses himself in the process. But when you have a vision that fuels you, whether it's building something, mastering a craft, or becoming more of who you're meant to be, you stand apart. You're not waiting on her texts. You're not wondering what she's doing. You're focused, and that focus is magnetic. She doesn't want to be your entire world. She wants to feel lucky to be part of the world you're already building. Purpose gives your presence weight. It gives your words meaning, and it makes your time valuable because it's going somewhere. What's your mission? And would you still be chasing her if you were already chasing that? Number 6, controlled vulnerability wins respect. There's a fine line between being emotionally open and being emotionally dependent, and most men don't know where that line is. Vulnerability, when used with control and intention, builds connection, but when it's used to seek validation, it repels. Women respect a man who can open up, but only when it comes from strength, not need. Sharing a struggle you've overcome, letting her in on something real about you, expressing emotion without letting it dominate you, that's powerful. It tells her you're human, but not fragile. Honest, but not lost, but oversharing too fast, trauma dumping, constantly seeking reassurance. That doesn't build intimacy. It puts emotional weight on her shoulders she never asked to carry. Controlled vulnerability is knowing when to speak and when to hold silence. It's the difference between telling a story and bleeding on someone. One invites closeness, the other drains it. So be real, be open, but always be rooted in self-awareness and restraint. You're not trying to be invincible. You're trying to be stable. Have you ever shared too much too soon, only to realize later it pushed them away? Number 7, women subconsciously test for strength. Most men think when a woman challenges them, it means she's losing interest, when in reality she might just be testing to see if you're who you say you are. These tests aren't always conscious, but they're real, and how you respond can either build attraction or quietly destroy it. She might push your buttons, question your decisions, go cold for a moment, cancel plans, roll her eyes at something you say, not because she's cruel, but because part of her is scanning for stability. She's asking, can this man handle real pressure? Can I trust his center when things get unpredictable? If you get angry, defensive, insecure, or desperate, you fail the test. But if you stay grounded, calm, unshaken, you pass, without even knowing it. A woman's tests are rarely about the thing on the surface. They're about how rooted you are underneath. They're not obstacles to avoid. They're opportunities to show your internal weight. So next time she pokes at you emotionally, pause, breathe, and stay centered. Because every reaction is a mirror, and what you reflect back will shape how she sees you. Have you ever reacted in a way you regretted later and felt her energy shift because of it? Number 8. Confidence in rejection is irresistible. Most men fear rejection like it's a threat to their identity. They avoid it, panic when it happens, or try to win her back just to feel whole again. But here's the twist. Rejection isn't the end of your value, it's the test of it. A man who can face rejection with grace, who can hear no and still smile, stand tall and walk away without bitterness, that man is rare. And ironically, often becomes even more attractive in the process. Why? Because confidence in rejection shows emotional abundance. It says, I know what I bring, I'm not here to beg, I'm here to offer. And if this isn't for you, I'm still good. That energy, it's magnetic. Not because you're trying to be cool, but because you genuinely don't crumble when one door closes. The insecure man attaches his worth to her approval. The grounded man knows her no doesn't define him. It just redirects him. Rejection is never personal when you know your path. And when you carry that kind of calm resilience, people start wondering why you're so unfazed. Think back. Have you ever taken rejection personally, only to realize later it had nothing to do with your worth? Number 9, mystery keeps her chasing. Attraction thrives in the unknown. When a woman feels like she already has you figured out, when every emotion, every thought, every intention is laid bare from the beginning, the tension fades. And with it, so does the excitement. Mystery doesn't mean playing games. It means being whole enough that you don't need to overshare to be seen or over-explain to be understood. It's letting her discover you gradually, not dumping your entire story in the first few conversations. Most men oversell themselves. They rush into vulnerability, spill their emotions, and flood her with constant communication. And without realizing it, they give away the very thing that made her curious in the first place. A man who holds a little back, not from fear, but from self-respect, keeps her imagination working. She starts wondering what drives you, what you're thinking when you're quiet, what you're not saying when she pushes. And that wondering, that's the fuel of pursuit. Let her earn access to the deeper parts of you, not to test her, but to preserve the value of your story. Have you ever felt someone lose interest the moment you made yourself too available? Number 10. Self-control over desire is the ultimate power. Desire isn't the problem. Being ruled by it is. Most men are led by impulse, chasing pleasure, approval, or attention without ever realizing how much power they're giving away. And nothing is more unattractive than a man who can't control himself. The moment a woman sees that your actions are driven by lust, need, or emotional hunger, the dynamic changes. You're no longer leading, you're chasing. But the man who pauses before he acts, who chooses carefully, speaks intentionally, and resists instant gratification, that man stands out. It's not about pretending you don't feel attraction. It's about being bigger than your urges. When you don't need to sleep with her, win her, or constantly prove yourself, you become someone she wants to understand, someone worth respecting. Self-control tells the world, I am in charge of me. And that calm restraint, it's rare, it's powerful, it's magnetic. The more you master your emotions, the less reactive you become, and the more influential your presence becomes. Because the man who doesn't chase blindly gets chased intentionally. Tell me in the comments, what area of your life do you feel your desire controls you more than it should? You've probably started to notice a pattern by now. None of these emotional triggers are about manipulation. They're about mastery of yourself, because attraction in its deepest form isn't something you chase. It's something you naturally generate when your energy, mindset, and presence are aligned. When you stop needing approval, when you stop moving from insecurity and start moving from purpose, everything changes. These 10 triggers aren't switches to flip. They're reflections of who you become when you focus inward first. The more you embody strength, calm, and self-control, not for show but as your foundation, the more people feel it. And that feeling? That's what draws them in. Not because you're trying to be impressive, but because you've become undeniable. Let's close this out with one final thought, something to carry with you long after this video ends. The world constantly tells men to do more, say more, show more, thinking that effort alone will create connection. But the truth is, the strongest men are often the quietest, the calmest, the ones who don't need to prove anything, because who they are speaks louder than anything they could say. You don't have to be perfect, you don't have to get it. All right, but if you commit to mastering your emotions, if you start building your life with purpose, presence, and peace at the core, everything around you starts to shift. Relationships, respect, attraction, it all begins within. So take what you've learned here, not as rules to follow, but as mirrors to reflect on. Where do you overgive? Where do you react too fast? Where could you hold back, not out of fear, but out of strength? These aren't tricks, they're traits of the man you're becoming. If this video gave you something to think about, feel free to like and subscribe so you won't miss future insights on stoicism and living better. You've got more power than you think, especially when you stop handing it away.